If you're ignoring it, it is not going to be good for your fluency. So when you're practicing, remember to avoid these filler words. Hi everybody, how are you all? Hope you're doing great and everything is going well in your life. So remember, we did one lesson on filler words recently, and that was something related to your fluent English speaking. So in that particular video, I talked about filler words and I talked about how they can be helpful for you and situations where you might avoid them. So I was talking about how filler words can be really good for you. They can be good. They're not bad. People think that filler words are bad. They are not bad. They are good. But I also made one more point, that is, you need to know the art of using those filler words in order to make it sound good. And today I'm going to give away one piece of that art to you. And that is the bad filler words that you need to avoid. So there are good filler words and there are bad filler words. Like there is always two sides of a coin. With filler words, it's similar. There are good filler words which can make you sound fluent. You need to know how to use them correctly. And then there are the bad filler words. So it's important to know which ones are the bad ones in order to avoid them. So whenever you're speaking, so that you can avoid those particular filler words, you must have knowledge which one are these. Are you ready? Are you excited? Because if you eliminate these filler words, you will sound fluent and you'll sound natural while speaking English. So let's begin. Let's talk about some of the types of bad filler words. So the type number one is the sounds that often people make when they're hesitant or when they forget what they were speaking. So a lot of times what people do is, when they find it difficult to speak in English, when they don't know what to speak, what were they saying, they lose track of whatever they were speaking, they use these filler words like oh, these kinds of filler words, oh, yes, yeah. So these kinds of filler words you must have heard. People use them a lot. Now they are the bad examples of filler words. They are the bad filler words, the ones you need to avoid. When you do that, you sound underconfident and nervous. If you're using these kinds of filler words while talking, you are not sounding good. What happens is, when you say something like this, audience get distracted. Even they lose the track of their thinking, whatever they were listening to. There are some filler words which will give time to your audience to process whatever you have said. Even silence can do that work. And there are filler words which help them to think about whatever you have said. But these kind of filler words, the ones with the sound that I have just told you about, which are very common, they do the opposite. They make them totally forget what you were saying. They get confused. Your audience also get confused. So what happens is, whenever you're using these kinds of filler words, they have a negative impact on your personality and your speaking skills, because you don't appear to be confident. It appears that you're not well prepared. Because if you're not well prepared, you will fumble and you will look for words, showing your thinking process and then totally having no idea what to talk about, or continuously using these kinds of filler words makes you appear a bad speaker, which we need to avoid. So these are the bad filler words you need to avoid at all costs. It's not like you cannot use them just here and there. Usually, naturally, when you are speaking, you can, but not after every word, not all the time. Avoid doing that. Once in a while during speaking, if you are saying that, that's okay, completely okay, because that's natural. We are humans. We can't speak like robots, can we? That's completely fine. But if you have a habit of repeatedly using these kinds of filler words, that is something that we need to avoid and that you need to overcome in order to be a fluent speaker. Now the filler word type number two, and that is your filler words from your native language. In my case, in our case in India, They are the filler words from the Hindi language. So your Hindi fillers or your native language fillers. I have seen a lot of people out there who speak good English. They speak good English. Their sentence structures, they're fine, they're good. They are speaking good basic English and they can even sound fluent. They can sound fluent. But the one mistake that they are making, that is they are using lots of Hindi fillers. And I have seen two reactions. The one reaction is, and that's the majority of the reaction these people have, that they want to overcome this problem. They want to eliminate those Hindi fillers. On the contrary, the very few, the less number of people, they think that it's okay to use the Hindi fillers. But it is not okay to use Hindi fillers. Why? You are speaking good English. Still, you're not sounding fluent just because of this one point. So when you use Hindi filler in between, it breaks the fluency. You're saying something in English and suddenly when this Hindi filler comes in, it breaks the fluency. It breaks your thought process too, and it badly affects the listener. Even your thought process is not affected that much the way listener gets affected, because it's like a reset for listener. What was this person saying? The listener goes into that kind of mode because there is this word from a foreign language, from a different language. Although we are familiar with it because Hindi is my native language and I'm familiar with it, but using fillers from your native language makes you sound underconfident. That is one point. And a lot of people, they speak good English confidently just using Hindi fillers. That's one point that ruins everything for them. So avoid Hindi fillers. Hindi fillers like acha, are, ha, oh, to. These are the examples of Hindi fillers I've heard a lot of times people using. So try to avoid them. Whenever you're speaking, consciously try to avoid these fillers. It will take some time to develop this habit, but consciously trying to avoid these fillers will eventually make you really avoid them, and you'll be able to speak fluent English without these fillers. So watch out, look out, and do not speak Hindi fillers in between. Now the pro tip, you can consider it as a point number 3, or you can consider this as a pro tip that I'm gonna give. Whatever filler you're using, even if you're using the good fillers, what happens is, if you're using the fillers after each word, every sentence, they convert into bad fillers. So you can say the bad filler type number 3 is repeated fillers. We can say it like that, repeated fillers. So if a person is using a lot of filler words in the speech, it again becomes difficult to understand what the person is trying to say, because the information is divided in lots of parts, and to understand all those parts, it becomes difficult. There is no smooth process of saying something, nor a smooth process of receiving something from the side of listener. So that's why when somebody uses lots and lots of filler words, it becomes difficult for the audience to understand what the person is saying. And often, instead of giving you time, the speaker, the time to decide what to say, it has opposite effect. Using filler words has opposite effect. That is, you become totally confused what to say, because you are using too many of them, that you lose track of your thinking. So in order to make these filler words work in your favor, you need to use them in less quantity so that you can manipulate them and use them in your favor. Use them whenever it is necessary, whenever you need them in your speech. Do not throw them around unnecessarily. Do not do that. And when you are speaking more filler words in a sentence rather than the words, it is going to give out a bad effect on the audience. So avoid using too many filler words after each word, every sentence. I know it is difficult to speak in English, and if you are facing this problem, it's not your fault. But you need to do the efforts. You have to make that first move. You need to do efforts in order to overcome this problem. We can overcome this problem, and it's really important to address it. If you're ignoring it, it is not going to be good for your fluency. So when you're practicing, remember to avoid these filler words. which I have told you about today, and remember not to use too many filler words. And if you do that, you're going to be a great speaker eventually. Slowly and gradually, you'll know where to use them, where not to use them. You will be able to avoid it. So that's it for today. That's the lesson. I have given you a part from the art of using the filler words in your favor. The art of using the filler words to increase your fluency. I hope you liked the lesson and found this helpful. This is going to be really important. Filler words, it's a topic that a lot of people avoid. But it is a very important topic because they are the part of speech, something that we cannot avoid. So it's important to address them. If you found this video to be helpful, please like it and share it with your friends too. Subscribe my channel for more awesome lessons. I'm gonna see you next time tomorrow at 8 a.m. sharp. Till then, take care and bye.